Hello everyone. Good morning children. How are you all? I hope you all are good and doing study perfectly and prepare for the FA1 papers. So now we are going to start uh, lecture number 2 of chapter 20, disaster management. In lecture number 1 of this chapter, we had discussed about the what is disaster, types of disaster, like a natural disaster, and the second one is the man-induced disaster. In natural disaster, we have studied in detail flood, cyclone, earthquake in detail. What is flood? Which type of effects of flood? Then cyclone, then earthquake. And earthquake we cannot forecast in, but flood and cyclone we can forecast about that. And what to do at the time of the disaster and what not to do. Both the situation we have discussed and also learned about the how to manage in that type of situation and how to come out from that situations, right? So I hope you all understand perfectly. So if you any doubt, then you repeat, see that video and try to understood perfectly, because this chapter is not importance only for the examination, but also it is very useful your in life. Okay, correct? Okay, good. So now we are going to start today's new topic. Exit. So page number 148, chapter 20, disaster management. In this chapter, we have done flood, cyclone, and earthquake. And now we are start tsunami. So what is tsunami? The destructive and powerful sea waves are called tsunami. Underline, define, meaning, whatever you call it. The destructive and powerful sea waves are called tsunami. We seen in most of the movies and in TVs, right? This type of waves that is called tsunami. For tsunami, if you want to see the movie, then you see the Hollywood movie, The Day After Tomorrow. In that movie, totally the situation is seen. The Day After Tomorrow. It is a perfect movie match with this topic. And Volcano, another movie which is related to volcano disaster. If you want, then you can see that. So now we are start. Okay. What is tsunami? So the destructive and powerful sea waves are called tsunami. It is very simple defined. These are generated at the sea bottom due to earthquake having a rating of 7 or more Richter scale. Please underline. When will generate the tsunami? So at the time of earthquake having rating of 7 or more Richter scale, or by a volcanic eruption in sea at that time. Due to that reason, these tsunami are generated at the sea bottom. Tsunami means a destructive waves. Normal meaning of tsunami word, that is destructive waves. That means a wave which is destroy all in Japanese language. But the tsunami occurs mostly due to earthquake on ocean floors. So these are also known as oceanic earthquake waves. Another name for tsunami, that is oceanic earthquake waves. And why we can call the ocean earthquake waves? Because these occurs mostly due to earthquakes on ocean floors. That's why we can say that is oceanic earthquake waves. These waves travel very fast in circular pattern from the place of their origin. And in deep sea, these waves are not seen distinctly due to their shorter wave height, but when they approach a coast and shallow sea, they turn into devastating form. Understood? Again, I'll repeat. In deep sea, these waves are not seen distinctly due to shorter wave height. We cannot see all the waves as a different because they have a shorter heights, but their approach coast and shallow sea. So that's why it's turned into devastating the form. Its velocity reduces near the coast, but height increases. Velocity reduces, but the height increases slowly, and so these waves surge ahead in a form of wall near seacoast and cause devastation. In starting, uh, waves of tsunami, it's a shorter waves height, but slowly it's become increasing, and then reduce the velocity near the coast, and that's why the waves surge ahead in form of wall and near the seacoast and cause devastation. Then it we can see from this information that tsunami like a wall in form of wall, a huge wall. Then more than 2 lakh people from Thailand, India, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and other southeastern countries became a victim of a highly destructive tsunami on 26 December 2004. Please underline this information. Very important informations for examination. More than 2 lakh people from Thailand, India, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and other southeastern countries become victim of highly destructive tsunami on 26 December 2004. With modern equipment, a forecast and nearly exact time of striking of a tsunami can be predicted. That means we can uh, doing a prediction about the tsunami, and also we can forecast with the modern equipments, right? So in future more death can be prevented with due precautions. So a tsunami like disaster happened. So at that time, what to do? So with tsunami warning, move to a safer place, uh, away from the sea coast, and then keep radio handy and act according to the instruction received from the authorities. And the main thing is that we go to the safer place, and that place is not near to any sea coast. Then construction of new buildings and settlements should be carried out considering the tsunami impact. Mangrove reduce the overall impact of tsunami, so attempts should be made to expand their span. And what not to do when tsunami happens? So do not take shelter on tall buildings near the coast because these buildings may collapse due to destructive waves. Then the second one is after the tsunami recedes, do not approach sea coast till the instructions are received from the authorities. That means keep if you are moved to a safer place, that means away from the sea coast. So stay there till the instructions are received from the authorities. Okay, so understand what is tsunami and what to do and what not to do at the time of this disaster. It is a natural disaster and we can forecast about the tsunami. So now it's your turn. Just read it and then we'll start the drawing. What is tsunami? What is the meaning of tsunami? How it is generated? What is the reason of tsunami? These all are included in this para. So read this para and try to understand perfectly. If in one time you can't understand, then you repeat again. And then more than 2 lakhs people from Thailand, India, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and other southeastern countries became a victim of a highly destructive tsunami on 26 December 2004. It is also important, so underline. Okay, complete the reading. Read the what to do and what not to do. Okay, complete. Okay, good one. Now, drought, then forest fire. Okay, last two natural disaster. Then we'll start man-induced disaster. Just a minute. Okay, here will our topic drought. It is a highly destructive hazard, leaving a long-lasting impact. It is connected with water and food, which are very much needed for the existence of living organism. Organism means social animal and all, as well as wild animal also. It, in short, things which is love. So, drought is connected with the water and food, and water and food is very much needed for existence. So the problem of drought occur in region of monsoon climate where the rainfall is irregular and is very scanty. It is very irregular and it is very scanty. So this is so become the agriculture's crop, food grains, living organism depends completely on water and the shortage is created due to water crisis. So under such condition, heavy damage is done to agriculture and natural vegetation. These are called drought. These all are the effects of drought. Earlier, many people died of starvation during the drought because at that time food is not available to public people and food is very much needed for existence of living people. So if food is not available and the starvation starting and during the starvation and during a drought due to starvation many people are dead. Not now, just talk about the earlier times, but now it has been reduced due to transportations and well planned management. Because now we have some service facilities like suppose just example, if in our area drought is happen, so from the other areas they all are uh, with the transportation provide foods and water to the us. So now it's reduced, and the reason is that the transportation and well planned management. So again, I told you that he drought when will happen. It is connected with water and food, and this problem of drought it occurs in the region of monsoon climate because rainfall is irregular and very sandy. So these are the reason of drought occurs, and due to that, agriculture crops, food grains, and living organism depends completely on water, and shortage of water is created, and these situations heavy damage is done to agricultures, food grains, living organizations, etc. So that that is the reason for drought occur. And so now we'll start with doing we learn the what to do at the time of drought and what not to do at the time of drought. So first point is that drip irrigation in agriculture should be intensified. The second point is that food rationing and use of water should be planned after the estimating their availability. No doubt we all have a good facility now and we have well planned management. Still, arrangements should be made for this type of disaster is good for us. So arrangements should be made for fair price distribution of food grains and relief work. Then construction activity should be a stop except for inevitable work. And what not to do. So to prevent the food wastage, do not hold large scale dinner parties. Citizens should not hoard food grains or fodder. Okay? Clear? See students, it is very small topic and it is very easy. So now you have just 1 minute for read this topic and what to do and what not to do. Just go through the points. You have just 1 minute and then we'll start the forest fire. That is the last topic of natural disaster, and then we'll start a man-induced disaster. I hope you all understood these all topics perfectly. It is very easy chapter, huh? Comparatively history and civics. Okay, done. Okay, now forest fire. We all know what is forest fire, right? So forest fire is the fire which occurs in forest and creates a devastation. You I you know na meaning of devastation? Devastation means highly destructive. Destruction in huge volume, that is called devastation. Except for lightning, all other reason for a forest fire are man induced. See, forest fire, um, only there's one disaster we can say natural and also man induced. See, if a forest fire occur due to lightning, then it is called natural disaster. But except for lightning, then due to other reasons it occurs, then that is called man induced. Among them, throwing of burnt butts of cigarettes like biddies or matchsticks, burning things left by tourists, pilgrims, or shepherds, etc., are the major reasons of man induced forest fire. Please underline from the except for lightning to the major reason. I also underline for firemen are man induced, among them throwing of birds, burn butts of cigarette, biddies, matchstick, burning things, pilgrims, shepherds are the major reason. Okay, good. So these are more probabilities of forest fire occurred during a dry season after autumn. When will occur? So of dry season after the autumn. So at that time the dry grass and shaded trees leaf act as a fuel, and this situation is responsible for the spread of forest fire. When both wind and inflammable fuel are dry, they form a basis of forest fire, which spread faster during windy days of more temperature and less humidity. Some trees also out oily and inflammable material, so the fire spread faster. We all know this one type of science topic when both the wind and inflammable fuel are dry and they form bases of the forest fire, and that's why which is spread faster during the windy days for more temperature and less humidity. And also some trees oozing out oily and inflammable material. So this type of trees is uh, far faster spread of fire. Once the fire start, it spread in direction of wind and advancing at the velocity of about 15 km per hour on all sides. So once it starts and if attempts are not made promptly to do use it, the forest fire would stop only under two situations. The first one is the forest fire is extinguished completely by itself or due to heavy rain. Only these two reasons can stop the forest fire if attempts are not made promptly to do used it. Clear? So due to forest fire, smoke and spark rising high with the warm air current create a risk of fire among nearby settlement. So we learned what to do, but before that, you just read this three paragraph because in forest fire, give more information about it. So just read before we start what to do. You just 1 minute. In 1 minute, you complete this paragraph, and then we start what to do at the time of forest fire. Fast reading up. Okay, complete. Okay. So now we learn what to do at the time of forest fire. So act according to the instruction from the forest department. Arrange special patrolling in forest during dry season. Then employee of forest department should be trained for extinguishing forest fire because without them we cannot stop the forest fire and what not to do at the time of forest fire. While traveling through a forest, do not throw a burning weedy or other heighted things. And the second one is people living in settlements near the forest fire should not ignore the instruction from the forest department. That means follow the instruction from the forest department and act according to that instruction. And other special arrangements can be do. So here we done the forest fire and also done all the natural disasters like flood, then cyclone, then earthquake, then tsunami, drought, and forest fire. So here we learnt about total 5 to 6 natural disaster: flood, cyclone, earthquake, tsunami, drought, and forest fire. So we understood perfectly with important points and good information. And now we'll start man-induced disaster from the next lecture. Here we done today's lecture, and see students, please see reduce perfectly and try to understand perfectly, which is very helpful for you at the time of final examination if you are learned now. Okay, so goodbye everyone, and till I don't give a homework till the complete your FA1. After complete the FA1, I'll give you a homework about these chapters. So till that, do good preparation for the FA1 and try to get good score in FA. Okay. So goodbye everyone. Best of luck.